Right, hi viewers. I can't turn everything off because of the weather, but I haven't done any filming for a while, so I'm making the most of being able to come out here now before these flowers start going, because in front of you you can see the delightful, stunning even, Dendrobium Artem with all of its flowers open on its 3 canes. This one started to go, but they've all had 6 or 7. The 3 of them have had 6 or 7. And this is the Artem, is the same as Cerullo, and it's the one that's used in the cuthbertsonii breedings as well. So you can see where the colour comes from in some of the cuthbertsonii when they put Cerullo into the mix. It is rather nice. Best flowering I've had, I've got 1 cane that didn't flower. Don't know why. Last year and the year before it only had a couple of flowers on the end of 1 cane. This year the main 3 canes with no leaves, all flowered with clusters all at the same time, which was brilliant. And now next year that is the only one that's going to be might be, these might get longer, they're still growing, they haven't got their terminal leaf. Well, that one's not going to grow anymore. This one's still growing and that one's still growing, so I know it flowers on those canes, so I'm assuming the more old canes you leave on, the more it flowers. We shall wait and see what happens. Here's some more we've got for you, and one in front of you, this little beauty, is Dendrobium Stricklandianum. It's running amok. I bought it at the raffle for Bournemouth Orchid Society, May 2019, because the owner had it as a small division, and he had the mother plant there, and this was a piece of it, and I decided that I'd quite like it. Lovely green flowers. The centre is just stunning. It is a bit wild, I suppose, because it hangs in this Renaki hanger. It's what I use to hang neos in and hang them up in the apex. They take 12, and the neo pots are the right size to fit the hanger. It comes from Japan, but I'm using it at the moment for these dendrobiums that are hanging over themselves. I suppose I could mount it. I just don't want to. It's got 1, 2, 3, 5 new growths on it now. It's put up this year. It's flowering on virtually every stem. Cane, I should say, not stem. And it's just lovely. I like it. This is another one that's found, believe it or not, in China and Japan and Taiwan. It likes growing in dappled light. It can be grown cool to warm. I grow it intermediate. They say it grows on tree branches and rocks, but it's been potted in, since I got it, in this mix of stones, it looks like, in a small pot. It still doesn't need a big pot. I need to get it out once these flowers have gone and repot it and see what the roots are like. I don't want to pot it in that stuff again, but need to do something with it, otherwise it won't do so well next year. So It's also not a true winter rester, but you don't let it get too wet in the winter. Well, you do water it and then let it dry before you water it again. You mustn't overwater it and you mustn't keep it wet. But the fans that are going in the intermediate house go all the time, so there's a constant breeze, if you like, going around, circulating around the greenhouse all the time. So it's perfectly happy where it's been for the past year. It's just beginning to show signs of going over. According to the culture notes that I found on this, it flowers from January to May. It was flowering in May last year when I got it, but the flowers lasted well into June, and these flowers have been open possibly just over a week. So you know, it's happy. So all the while it's happy, I will let it stay that way. Now, the other one we've got that is very similar is called Dendrobium officinale. Now for this I need to put the tripod up a bit because it's hanging. And I need you to have a look at the flowers. But I want you to have a look at this cluster of flowers specifically because there's more of them. So I need to go up a bit more. There you are. There you are. He's there. And good luck. You've got lovely clusters of these flowers. Oh no, we want to go in a bit more than that. There you go. Which is a nice close-up on that. But there's a bit of difference between the shape and the colour. That one's more leaning on lemon than green, and it's mounted on one of the clay mounts that I had last year. It's flowering. I got it last year from Trey. I liked it. It was in a pot last year, but this year I put it in. Well, after it flowered, I put it on the mount, and it did. It's done really, really well. It's got three new growths coming. So as you can see, it flowers on leafed canes or unleafed canes. Semi-deciduous, obviously. It's not a true winter rester. That's not that plant, that's the one behind it. So this is all we've got for this. And this here. But oh, that's got another flower cane coming on it. That's another one. It's found in China, Japan and Taiwan. I don't know what it is about me managing to pick these plants. I don't pick them for places, I pick them for flowers and because I like the look of them. Grows in dappled light, likes to grow cool to warm. Again, I grow this intermediate. It also grows on tree branches or rocks. But it's the same as the other one. It sort of grows, it flowers from January to May. Its care is the same. It's got another name, like so many of them have. Officinale is the recent one, but it used to go by the name of Dendrobium tosaense, Tosaense, which is really odd. But it's a beauty nonetheless. So we quite like those things. Now what I need to do is see if we can move this without knocking anything over, because these are top heavy, and I need to bring that over here and put it in there for a minute, because this is another one I acquired last year and the flowers are so delicate. Dendrobium Cerullo. Let's see what we can get there. It's got 2, 3, 4, 5. It's another cluster type. They're not really clusters. They grow separately on the end of the stems like Victoria Regina does. But there's a hell of a contrast in the flower colour behind. And then the flower colour in front. Lovely lilac, waxy type leaves I'd call these, with the lovely tail on the back. It's got more flower coming there. It's only had 2 on there, it's had 3 on there, and it's had 3 on there. But again, last year we had I think we had 1 cane with flower spikes, so it really likes it, which is odd because this is supposed to be a warm to hot grower, and I grew it last winter in the intermediate house and it's perfectly happy and it's flowered for me. So am I going to move it into the warm greenhouse? No. I am going to have to repot it. But again, it's in too big a pot for what it should be in. It's odd, but it's another one. It comes, I don't know where this one comes from actually. I need to look that one up. But it is a beauty, the way it grows. Again, this one's completely deciduous. Well, near enough. You've got 3. Oh no, not near enough at all. Look, there's 2 leaves. That's got 3. There's another flower coming in there. So that's got leaves. So again, it goes under the heading of semi-deciduous. Neither of these 3 are truly deciduous. So you wouldn't have a complete dry rest. You've got to keep them growing over winter. You just haven't got to soak them and waterlog them, and they've got to dry out in between waterings without remaining dry too long. And I don't very often feed in the winter, so it's not something that ever happens. Now, here we have, and I'm going to bring this cane, this purely on a whim was bought because it's a hybrid between, but you can't guess, Dendrobium Victoria Regina and Dendrobium Myackii. Well, Myackii you've seen of mine with those gorgeous pink clusters that it grows in, and this is truly the Victoria Regina shape of flower, but it's more purple, so the pink mixed with the blue. Lovely, lovely colours on the back, absolutely stunning. So and that's the only reason I bought the plant, because of the cross. And we've got 2 growths coming on up there, but they haven't, if you look, they haven't got leaves growing up those canes, only at the end, which is a bit bizarre. But I love it and I can't wait till it gets bigger. I adore Victoria Regina and her colour and the way the plants grow. It's just the same. She looks such a mess the rest of the year. Now here we have a true delight for you. This is another one of my Japanese ones. It's a Nia Peach cross, and it is purple. And look. Those flowers. Grows in fans like the Neos, but it's bigger. It is crossed with, I had to write this down because I'd never have remembered it. It's called Darwinara Charm and Blue Star. But those flowers are a beautiful colour. Are they not? And it's a Neophanetia falcata crossed with a Vascostylus Tamuyen Hei. Tamuyen Hei. I don't know how they'd say it in Japan, but probably nothing like I've just said it. But it's a gorgeous hybrid. I love some of these Neophanetia hybrids because you get the gorgeous deep colours. And this is certainly a deep colour because, see if we can go into this on the other way. Move you closer. And then do it that way. You still don't like it, do you? Come on. There. But, again, I'm beginning to like that colour more and more. It's rather nice, don't you agree? Again, I grow this in the warm house, although I can grow it cool apparently. Cool to warm. But it's been in this warm house and it's done very well. So I'll leave it in here. When I bought it, it was flowering. It came, I got it from a chap in Holland, but it had come from Japan. And they do a lot of these hybrids. But obviously it was a lot bigger. The Vanda was a lot Vastylus. So it's a Vanda crossed with something to start with, and then whatever that plant is, the Vastylus, is crossed back to the Neophanetia falcata, which is where this shape comes from. And it's a lot finer. It's got another fan there. And, no, that's last year's flower spike, because the flower spikes come up down there. So, yeah, he's good. He's really good. Now, the other thing I have, where have I put it there? This is something very different for me. I put it in here because I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to mount it. And it's called Ascophanetia. You get back over there. Actually, let's put you out of the way altogether and move you in a minute. Let's put you there. And then see if we can, well, now you can see a good picture there, can't you? There you go. Ascophanetia cherry blossom. So it's an Ascothentrum crossed with a Neophanetia. I don't think it's very cherry coloured, but I do think it's a very subtle colour. And it's a very nice colour. So, and what I've grown it in, these stones and the water. It's usually covering the stones, the water. Tomorrow it'll be tipped out, washed out, and fresh water put in so that we don't get all the horrible algae form up. But it's perfectly happy. It's been in there since I bought it. And it's flowered two. That's not one flower spike, that's two flower spikes. So he is outstanding. I like him. He can stay. And I'm going to leave him in the jar for now. Now what we do have here, which I want to get hold of without trying to knock anything over. The way my luck's going today, that'll be damn near impossible. Because it's one of the leggy ones. And I do appear to have quite a few leggy ones. Now let's put you over there. You go in that hole. Ah, this will do the job. Then I can lift this. Go out a bit. Just look at that cluster of flowers. This is Dendrobium Run and Dom. Ron and Dom. It's Pseudoglomeratum crossed, Mahillianum crossed with Pseudoglomeratum. So the Mahillianum colours is toned down by the Pseudoglomeratum. But you have got such a mix. I mean, just look at the depth of those colours in there. Aren't they stunning? Lovely. And there's still 1, 2, 3, 4 to open on there. So you've got one little cluster down there and this little cluster up the end. And back here is another little cluster. So he hangs off of a plant that's hanging on the, I'm running out of everywhere hanging space. It's just crazy, but they're all over the place, all multiplying. So, but it's easier to film in here and not turn the fans off out there, because I always forget to turn them off. And one of these has gone off on its timer and will come back on in a little while, but I'm going to leave you there. Oh no, I'm not, because I've forgotten this. You saw it briefly, I think, before. Now you have to see it. Hold on. Let's get you out of here. You go down there. Try not to interfere with anybody else. Just hang on there for a minute. There you go. This is today's pièce de résistance. I'm going to have to hold that one because it's not going to play ball and fit anywhere. This is Phalaenopsis parishii. Just look at all these little flowers. Flowered nice last year on 2 little spikes. Tend to go out sideways. This year it's got 3 flower spikes each side at the base, so they're all merging together. I'm assuming that's normal for the plant. I've never known it do anything else, but look, they look like little men, dancing men. But he is beautiful and it flowers right over the side. The trouble is, by the time all of them open, some of the others will have gone, and I think it would have looked stunning with all of it open. Do you not agree? And that, my friends, is where I will leave you, because I've got to unmount, well, it won't take much unmounting because it's falling apart, a Dracula. I'm going to put it in a pot because the wire had fallen apart and the moss has started to rot and the mount is rotting, so I need to sort it out. What I need to show you before I go, I'll just go and get it. I did an order from Acorns for some more Sarcochilus, which came week before last. And I also ordered, because I'd killed it before, a Dendrobium Nia Peach, because I knew I wouldn't get the chance to get one again, and they had them in stock. Thinking I'd have to go back to the beginning and start growing all over again. Well, this is what came. It alone has got 1, 2, 3, 4 growths that are pushing up at the front. Aside from that, at the back, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that makes 7. And that one there makes 8 fans. There makes 8 fans, as well as the 4 new ones. I was expecting a tiny plant, and it was €15, and I'm absolutely amazed at this. So this one, the root system was amazing. You can see it's coming out the bottom. I mounted it straight away, and I put it with some moss. I didn't want this going without moss because it was such a strong established plant. I think I smiled for the rest of the afternoon when I got this, because, well, you can't ask. When you buy something from a grower, you cannot ask for any more than that. I mean, there's people say the state of some plants, about the growths and poor roots, and some have no roots at all, and this was astonishing, absolutely astonishing. And I managed to get it out of the pot it was in. It was more roots than bark in the pot. I managed to get it out, the one it was in, without breaking anything, and it pleases me very much, this plant. So I'm expecting good things of this next year. And if I don't get good things of this next year, it won't be down to the plant, it will be down to me. So watch this space, as they say. Actually, that's two growths, because that's another growth there. That's the one that came up before this one. That's an original. There's an original. Wow, I just wouldn't like to count it. It wasn't even 15 euros. Look at that, I'm lying. It was 10 euros. Which is why I still expected a tiny one like we normally got. Over the moon. And on that note, I'm going to leave it because I've got to go and do some work in front of the computer with the judging for the BOC Congress virtual judging show. So got to go through the plants and place them and send the report off to my co-workers in the section that I'm in. I've got, what have I got? I've got Phragmipediums and Pleurothadini, which please me as well. Don't know enough of the Pleurothadini, but we've got a good range of plants in there, so I've got some research to do on them. But the frags, I mean, I grow frags, so the frags I'm quite happy with, but it's, well, with those two things, they please me enormously. And on that note, I hope you're all doing okay and not doing too much now that things are changing and you're being careful. I think we still need to watch what we do and not dive out there and get stuck in, so to speak. Enjoy your orchids instead and carry on watching videos. But I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.